Hello everyone, my name is Diana Villatoro and I will be discussing about a case pertaining to freedom of speech. So to start off, I want to first introduce sort of a setting, and the setting is that Hurricane A&M is a mid-sized, historically black institution originally formed as a land grant and emerged as a teaching college and eventually gained a strong reputation for journalism and mass communication. The school is largely residential, with 20% of students living off campus, and alumni are major stakeholders to this university as it creates a home for everyone environment for those who attend. So that is just the setting. Now moving on, we have the actual case. So the case starts as follows. An undergraduate program board at Hurricane A&M is responsible for planning major events during the fall and spring semester. The board is overseen by Leah Rosado, Assistant Director of Campus Life, and the board prepares for a campus-wide concert for the spring semester and has sent surveys out to the student body to learn of who students would like for the concert, who would they like performing at the concert. So majority requested a live performance from a Caribbean music band, and the song of choice is their first single called Hurricane. The song choice is very popular among the student body, and it is considered the school anthem for the university. With the concert only being about a month away, the program board seeks out the band and prepares to sign a contract with them. And Unfortunately, they get an email from Amhad, the leader of the Gay Straight Alliance, and Leah was the one who was sent the email, or the email was sent to, and Dante was CC'd to it. And basically, Amhad is protesting that the song choice is very offensive and has very homophobic and misogynistic lyrics to it, and should not be played at the spring concert. So Amhad goes a step further and threatens to forward the email chain to the press unless immediate action is taken. So that is the case. The primary decision issues is, should Leah and Dante move forward with contracting the Caribbean group to play Hurricane at the university spring concert? And if so, what are the repercussions and how will we address them? Second, how should Leah address the GSA request once the decision is made? So a couple of the facts for this case is Hurricane A&M is a mid-sized institution and is historically known as a historically black university. Its demographics are 45% Caribbean students, 40% African American students, 15% Latino and white students. The program board is primarily focused on planning and implementing major campus-wide events during the fall and spring is notoriously most commonly heavy with more attention drawn to it. So the spring semester event consists of massive concerts and accrues significant financial costs. Dante, who is the board member or the program board director, distributes a campus-wide survey to collect a general request of who the student body would prefer for the concert. He learns that students unanimously choose a rising reggae pop group from the Caribbean. The music group's first single, Hurricane, aligns with the school mascot and has served as a harmonizer among a number of student groups and has served as the school's anthem throughout the year. So, in addition, Dante learns that the cost of having the Caribbean group perform is less than his proposed budget. The concert is a month away, and Leah and Dante are scheduled to meet with the music group manager to sign the contract. Amhad, the chair of the Gay Straight Alliance, emails Leah and Dante protesting that the band's that the band and the song choice is overly homophobic and misogynistic, and Amjad highlights evidence of this throughout the song lyrics. So the primary or the principal decision makers in this case are Dante Williams, who's the program board director, who's served in the board for 2 years now, and then Leah Rosado, who is the assistant director of campus life and oversees the undergrad program board. So a couple of applicable theories in this case would be Rest's modification of Kohlberg's theory of moral development, specifically the stage 5, and this is known as the societal consensus. And this is apparent in Dante, who believes that Leah should not pay attention to Amjad's request and believes that the song selection is okay and that Amjad is seeing too deep into the lyrics, or too much into the lyrics. Dante is a person who had originally sent out the survey and collected votes of the song choice that the student body wanted, and as a result, it is Dante's best interest to fulfill the school's consensus. So that is how that theory applies in his case. For Amjad, I've noted that he is going through Kohlberg's theory of moral development for stage 6, which is morality of universal, reversible, and prescriptive general ethical principles. So basically, Amjad challenges the decision to play Hurricane at the school concert by arguing that the choice is not inclusive to the LGBTQ community and that there is not an equal consideration of points of views in this case. So, with all of the facts and knowledge of the case, I've compiled a couple of course of actions, some short term and some long term. Starting off with the short term, we would like to start by responding to Amjad's email and offering reason for not following with their request. By doing so, this will make Amjad then immediately threaten to send out the email chain to the press, which in this case, Amjad has all legal rights to do so under his First Amendment right for releasing information to the press with no consequences. In addition, to kind of back up why this is valid, this is a public school, so we follow federal and state laws more directly than, say, private schools. Second, that the act in which Amjad is planning to go about is protected by the First Amendment because it would not cause any direct or immediate harm to the safety of the student body. So if he decides to go to the press and protest, he is likely to do so, as long as it doesn't cause an immediate threat to the student body. In addition to emailing Amjad, we also want to offer reason for this choice by stating that this was a student body decision and that there's little time for to do alternative actions to be made in a timely manner. So that compiles really the consensus on Amjad's email response, or how we would go about emailing Amjad. Second short-term recommendation is that we would move forward with the Caribbean group and sign off on the contract. Once we do that, we will then go into our next phase, where we will be preparing for the press and providing confirmation on this action. So by confirming, we mean that we will confirm that the spring event will have a Caribbean group perform for the concert. And we also want to mention that if questions are asked about how this affects communities within the university, then as the board, we should prepare to mention that this choice was a consensus among the student body and that the decision was not made to undermine any community. Once we do that, once we've spoken to the press, we also want to follow up with sending a formal letter to the student body confirming the decision and advising audience discretion if they choose to attend the event or if they choose not to attend the event. So those are our short-term recommendations. Our long-term recommendations is to build a committee for the undergrad program board and invite student leaders from the student involvement or student organizations to add input into the planning of events for each semester. We want to get in touch with student involvement and advertise the need for a student leader to participate in this committee. If we are unable to do that in a timely manner, then our next option is to take recommendations from admin, faculty, and staff. If in the case we don't have any volunteers from student involvement. The time frame for this is to build the committee within 2 months, nearing the end of fall semester, to allow time for planning in the spring, where the largest planning occurs. Second to that, so that's one of our long-term recommendations. Our second recommendation is to redo the student survey and to offer options that are more quantitative instead of qualitative. And this is with the assumption that the survey that was sent out by Dante had more of a open-ended qualitative questions versus a more quantitative. So to kind of specify more on this survey, we want to provide options that will be based on the committee's recommendations. And why it would be the committee's recommendations is primarily because since they're all from student involvement in different communities within the institution, we feel like this would be a good way of still offering inclusive song choices based on the student leaders and their choices. Second, the students can either select from the choices or provide their own song requests or band requests. So even though we're going to have quantitative questions in the survey, we do want to have a couple qualitative a couple qualitative questions to make sure that their choice is still being considered. Once feedback is collected from at least 10 to 30% of student population, the program board is then recommended to meet with Leah to review the song choices and make the final decision. So that is really all my recommendations for this case. I hope to hear a lot of feedback, and thank you. Bye.